All right, so welcome back to the show, everybody, and we'll be doing technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and also help us get to 150 likes on this video by hitting that like button. And now let's get right into the market. All right, so welcome back once again, guys. And you can see S&P 500 pulls back from record as investors eye oil prices and Iran deal developments. And there are no deals. Here's what to expect from Friday's release of the April's job report. And we do have some data coming out tomorrow morning. I don't know why is showing all these countries. I don't need all these countries. All we need is United States, and that's all we need. And when you go and look for the data, again, it's giving me the same thing. We just need one country, and we saved it. So there you go. We have some data tomorrow, guys, and that's going to be a big one. We got unemployment rate. We have non-farm payrolls, and that is going to move the market. And just want to give you guys a little bit of heads up what's coming. And this one, this is where we got to see it. This inflation data, if this thing is in line or coming down, then you know all the data that you're getting over the years, everything is totally fake because inflation cannot stay down with higher prices of energy, gasoline, diesel, all that is up big for the year. New sentiment right here, you can see that was out yesterday. 38.3% are bullish on the market, 33% are bearish. So more bullishness, even neutral jumped up 28.7. Now, fear and greed index 68. Market Dow is down today from 500 or 5,000 here, 0.63%, declining 58.3%, advancing 37.4. Nasdaq, if you look at it, I mean, if you call this a down day, I don't know what to tell you. It's just insane. You call this a down day, I don't know, guys. I'm gonna be, really out of words if I'm gonna call this a down day on Nasdaq. The same thing goes for S&P, 0.38%. Russell down the most, over 1.5%. 11 sectors, all in red. And guess what? If you look at right here, technology is still not really, you know, that much red, but who took the beating? Industrials, basic materials, energy, utilities, healthcare. These names, consumer cyclical technology, these are still up here, guys. And you can see technology for the week still up over 5%. So massive move there. Stock market map, what do we have here? Well, Nvidia once again up. So, they're just balancing, you know software names, some software names, they were up, but right now I think with some earnings from net, things are down pretty big. Microsoft was up today, but it was up even more. You can see software names like PANW, PLTR, all that is up. Apple hit a new all-time high and then backed off. Amazon down, Tesla was up today, Meta 0.5%, Google flat. A lot of these financial names, smaller regional banks, they're all red. You can see right here, even healthcare, JPM was down pretty big, almost 3%. And a lot of the names right here, industrials names, Caterpillar took a hit today, but this thing is going ballistic for past couple of sessions. And of course, energy sector took some beating as well. So overall, market condition is still extremely bullish. And how it's coming? Well, it's coming out of these names just back and forth. You see now they sold AMD, AMU, Intel today, and then SanDisk was down 5%. It seems like 5% is a lot on SanDisk, but if this thing goes down, even 30%, that is absolutely nothing. This thing would be up still massively where it actually started. Some of these names like WDC, STX, Broadcom was down today, AMD, AMU, but how much SMH actually went down? Barely, like 1% or some change, right? So I don't know what it's going to take and how this market is actually just going vertical 90-degree angle to the upside, but something is got to give somewhere, guys, and I think it's coming very soon. So let's talk about some of these big names. Let's get started with Apple. On Apple stock, it's absolutely flat on the day, and this is why I like Apple. You can see we made a brand new all-time high, but then we backed off. Apple is more sufficient, and I would say more controlled, when it comes to selling off or even going up. You're not going to see those uh, penny stock moves on Apple, especially when it comes to stocks like SNDK, AMU, even AMD nowadays, and some of the other memory chips. They're acting like penny stocks. Look at the breakout. It was a failed breakout. We came back in, but I don't mind if Apple breaks out, goes to 300 plus, because look at the consolidation that it actually took. How much time? Of course, Apple investors, like even myself, we need some growth. Like it cannot just sit in one place. Your money is not gonna grow, right? So if Apple goes up, if the price of the stock goes up, if the company is doing well, that's when your money is going to grow. And I get it. Some of these people they bought or they've been holding some of these names and they're getting tons of money. But also some people that are sitting on the sideline to possibly see maybe a potential pullback, something happening in the market. You're seeing absolutely nothing, and those stocks are just moving like a penny stock. I mean, if you buy a penny stock and you see that type of move, let's say you bought something for 50 cents, maybe $1.50, and it goes up to $10, I get it. You got lucky, there was going to be a short squeeze, you got that money, it's totally fine. But when you have a name like AMD or SanDisk or even STX, WDC, then you got some of the other names. If these stocks are doing that, you're getting a penny stock move out of those stocks. It just don't make sense because the valuation is way way high than what they actually are, and they're just going ballistic. So when it comes to that, Apple is always something that I look up to, and I think this is a great company. Even if you ask me, out of Magnificent Seven, what I would choose over anything else, Apple, definitely. Not even Nvidia is going to come close. Apple is a fantastic company, and Apple is here to stay. And there will be growth, but these growths are healthy. Your money not gonna go somewhere because you see a lot of these selling happen. And what did Apple do? Even back in March, what was Apple doing, guys? It didn't go down that much. It didn't crash. Nothing happened. The market went down. Some of these names, like AMD, it was trading at 190, right? Gave back half of the gains from the top. Did Apple do the same thing? No. So your money is a lot safer with Apple, but then you're not going to see these type of crazy moves to the upside. So Apple here, if it breaks out over that 188 range, holds over that, yes, now we need to take out also 292, then you're going to see Apple up to 297 to 300. If we pull back and it cannot hold here, I would say 287.33. Then watch for a pullback down to the 5-day moving average, 283, maybe even into 280. And then only then we can call this a totally fake breakout to the upside. On AMD, it's down 3%. So how much did AMD go up yesterday? It was up massively, right? 3%, it's absolutely nothing. We did not even get under 400. So when you look at these names, I mean, look at this 90-degree angle, just vertical. Like there was no pullback, guys. This was just one time, and it didn't even stay down. Just like today, I mean, how much this thing was going up? 60, $50 a day with earnings even more, and now gave back 13 bucks. If you call that a pullback, then I don't know, the math just don't add up here. So AMD here, watch if 400 level actually breaks, we might get into this gap, maybe into 377. Maybe we fill the gap, and that's where see if AMD can hold as right here at the gap fill reversal. Then there is potential for possibly upside. Maybe you can take a trade. Otherwise, if you're chasing up here and this thing, if you bought here and then breaks below 400, you'll be holding it back. Also, if it breaks out over 430, then that could be a trade. Maybe it can go even higher, but then your risk on AMD, that's going to be just too big if you're taking, a lot of risk here pretty much at the top. On Google stock, it's absolutely flat on the day. So Google and Amazon, two of these stocks, I have short positions, and it's not going to expire anytime soon. So it's pretty far out, and I think over time, even if Google goes to 400 plus, I think it's going to come down, and that's my target. This gap, whether it comes down next month or the month after, or maybe before next earnings, this is going to be the target because things cannot just go up like this. There will be time you're gonna see significant pullback, and it happened before on Google many times. And I think what's the happening here, it's just a lot of chasing in between Google and Nvidia, because Google tried even today to take over Nvidia's market cap, but it was not able to because Nvidia moved up, right? So Nvidia went over 5T and Google sitting at 4.79. They won that headline really badly, but it's not happening. So we'll see if that happens in near future. But Google, in my view, at least for me, I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm shorting Google and even Amazon. Amazon position is green right now, and Google so far it's pretty much close to break even. So I'm not you know going anywhere with that at this point. But I think we'll get here at some point. At least I would say 370, 380. That's going to come on Google. Now, if this thing gets over 400, then things can change. You can possibly go a little bit higher. If it comes down, the key zone to watch that today's low 390, underneath that 387, that gives up down here 382 to 383, and then watch out for possibly a bigger dump off all the way down here 363. Here's my X account, and if you guys are on there, definitely give me a follow right here on X. Now, it seems like a lot of people are giving up, especially the market just kept grinding higher, so people think we'll never get a pullback, we cannot get back in, and there are really less opportunities. Even with that few trades that we took recently, I want to share with you guys right here, and this was fantastic. You can see right here, IGB calls 85, and this thing exploded for past couple days, and today had a gap up and go. This one here you can see from April 28 USO oil puts 135, and what happened today, it went down more. Yesterday was down, and today we had a follow through. So this was a really nice trade that we locked in profit. Here's another one, gold. This one I took it when it was trading around 85, and this thing went to the moon also today. So if you want these types of trade ideas, and if you're somebody who's really serious about trading, head over to Patreon. You do have my link right up here also, or you can go in the description and you can see that link for the Patreon, and you can go for annual membership. You'll save some money, or you can always go for monthly. But as long as you're serious about trading, then go ahead and check it out, guys. On Tesla stock is up 3.28%. So out of nowhere, now Tesla breaks out. So like I said, a rotation going on in between these names into chips and a lot of these memory stocks. And now Tesla broke out over 400. So if this thing continues, I think we can go up even more, maybe into 432. But you can see even Tesla went up and got over the Bollinger Band, came back in, respecting this Bollinger Band. So if we come back in and fill the gap around 400, watch out. That could be an opportunity to re-enter Tesla and play it back up to the upside as long as the support holds. If it does not hold 400, then this thing will drop possibly down to 396 and then 383. On Meta, it's up 0.64%. So Meta had a nice move up today to 624 and then faded back off of this 50-day moving average and now trading at 616, 617. So just trading over 611 because we have support right here around 615, and 611 is the 5-day moving average. As long as we stay over that and we get that breakout over this 50-day 627.74, then we could see continuation towards that 638. Otherwise, we're just consolidating here, and if this thing comes down under 600, there's going to be some move that you're going to see to the downside to fill that gap at 575. As long as 600 holds, I think Meta can move higher, but no guarantee looking at this chart. And one thing I want to point out here, especially on this monthly time frame, and you can see it. I guess I think you can see better here on monthly. We have head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and you can see we actually broke the neckline here, and we're just trading outside this main key trend line. We went back in, we got rejected out, and now we're just sitting here uh, as of this month. So if this thing actually stays under this trend line, nothing really bullish about it. Maybe we go and attempt to fill the gap, but still, I wouldn't call this a bullish move as long as we remain under this trend line, and also that head and shoulder you can see on weekly as well. You have head, left shoulder, and the right shoulder here forming, and we pretty much taking out. If you go from here to pretty much right here, you can see right here we broke the neckline. So if this thing wants to continue, it can definitely go down even more. On Nvidia stock, it's up 1.77%. So this is what I call manipulation in the market, guys. And we're seeing that with oil. What was that oil trade that we saw last night? Not last night, night before actually. I think around 4 a.m. in the morning, shorted oil. And then what happened? The news came out that we're getting closer to a deal. Let's just not talk about the deal because we don't have any deals, nothing. But the market liked it. Market went up, gapping up and going even higher. But when it comes to nothing happening, look at the market reaction. When there is bad news, market just stays flat or gives back maybe $1 or two. I mean, if you call that a pullback, I mean, come on, that's not even a small tiny scratch market putting on itself compared to how much this thing went up in last few sessions. So when there is the same, and it's the same news, Iran and US just gonna have a deal. They're not gonna give up their nuclear dust and all that. They're not gonna give up nothing. They're not gonna give the control of Strait of Hormuz because that's the only thing they have. If they don't have that, US would just go in and they will just blow them up immediately. They would have nothing left. That's the only weapon they have is Strait of Hormuz. And if you ask me, I think what's happening here, it's not about war. There is also a virus outbreak now and all that. It's all about trading, guys. If you think about it, I think even people that are running Iran government, these people are also trading into U.S. markets because they're rich, they have money. Not the people, but these politicians. They have money, they have sources, they can do stuff, they can buy Bitcoin. And these news coming out, the government, people within the government, or even who knows, it's always possibly one of those kids that actually taking trades on oil and making millions, billions of dollars. And guess what? It's all about trading. So the news comes out, market jumps, oil drops. They short oil, they make money. Oil goes up, they reshort again. We already have that a few times already. So it's all a chaos. And there was some investigation from DOJ into that big trade. I think it was 2+ billion-dollar trade that actually got profited off of that trade. So that is a massive trade, guys. And what happened to oil? Yes, we shorted, or we shorted US. So you guys saw that, but it's not like that. It's not like we know what's gonna come and somebody's giving us information. We're just shorting based on experience and what's gonna happen. Maybe it will come down. We can make a little bit of money. But these informations that are they're having on these products like oil or even the market itself, it's just insane. So a lot of corruption, a lot of manipulation happening in the market, and that's why what you're seeing in the market. I mean, uh, you know, yes, the chart technicals they work, but nowadays you got to look at the tweet because that's your main thing. One tweet, and it doesn't matter what technicals. It could be a head and shoulder pattern, and then you'll see it's playing out inverse. That's how it is, guys. That's how it's been. So be careful. I mean, until some stuff changes, which is not gonna be anytime soon, it's gonna be really a tough time because these newses and these tweets will come out, will manipulate the market, and it doesn't matter. You could be right on your trade, but things can go the opposite way because of that tweet, and things that are coming out of the government, right? Nvidia, look at the manipulation. Had Nvidia drop, did SMH drop? Nope. They had other ones going up, right? AMD, ARM was going up, but then ARM gave back today. Last night earnings wasn't good enough. I think it was one miss and one beat or small beat, right? And nothing really big to talk about. But then they pumped Nvidia yesterday and today, right? Almost going back over previous all-time highs and then came back in. So Nvidia, this 203 zone is going to be the key support zone. This thing breaks over 212, goes higher, then we might be able to go back up and hit this previous all-time high 216.83. If this thing breaks below 203, it comes down to 196. This is going to be your key line in the sand. That breaks all over. You're going to see Nvidia filling the gap at 189. All right, so Netflix pretty flat on the day, not much happening here on Netflix, and just trying to hold over this. We almost got into the gap. We did not fill the gap completely, but I think if this thing can hold over 85.5, we could see a potential bounce back up to 91.7. So keep an eye on this. Not much really happening with Netflix. There are not a lot of buyers stepping in. Also, if you look at it, I mean, it looks like some sort of a falling wedge, but so far, no breakout, nothing really happening here on Netflix. We'll see if anything changes here on Netflix, or you can call this some sort of a channel here. If this thing actually breaks out here, then we can talk about some upside. But as of right now, it's on a strong downtrend, and see if this support actually holds, which is right here around 85.5. So Broadcom was down 3%, but if you look at my screen, it's holding right here just under that previous all-time high. This thing has a lot of gaps, and if this thing actually putting in at top here at this moment, we cannot get back over this previous all-time high, and this downtrend will continue possibly into these lows down here 387. So watch out if this is going to be some sort of a trap again before this thing breaks out, or this is going to be an actual move where this thing comes down and closes some of these gaps down here. You can see multiple gaps left here, and this thing also went vertical 90-degree angle here without any pullbacks. And now we are getting, like, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, you see this pullback. Okay, we had a gap down 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Okay, I call this a pullback. This is not a pullback. We come down, immediately went back up. Not even a day, we immediately went back up, and then we made new all-time highs. This is not pullback. This was a downtrend. Yes, you can call this a downtrend. You can call this a downtrend. Even you can call this high to this low a downtrend. This is a downtrend, but this is not some sort of a downtrend where I would say, oh my God, this is it. This is a big sell-off happening here on Broadcom. On Amazon stock is down 1.39%. So Amazon, I got in here. Amazon actually right here 3 days ago at 276 with 270 puts, and that position is in the money green. And most likely my stop would be 278.56. Let's say 280 here. Give it a little bit of wiggle room. If this thing breaks over 280, I'll just cut my position and possibly re-enter. But as of right now, Amazon also, you can see, I mean, this is a vertical, guys. Even though some days it was down, but there wasn't actually a really big down day where this thing stayed down. Even with earnings, it actually did finish up the day in the green. So you're seeing a red candle, but it was actually green on that day. So Amazon here just holding on to 272 or trying right now. If we open underneath that tomorrow, watch out. We could see a quick drop all the way down to 264 and maybe win into 258. So Microsoft was up 1.65%. It went all the way up to 428, but you can see a little bit of rejection, and now we're pulling back. Looks like we will be filling the gap early as tomorrow. But also Microsoft, we do have this inverse head and shoulder, maybe a flag pattern here. We had that initial break today, but now it looks like we're coming back in. But I think Microsoft here, as long as we stay over, I would say 411 to 413, this is still bullish, and we can see that breakout happening and come up and retest these highs 433, possibly into even 444 and even higher into the gap. But that's probably going to take some time. It's not going to happen in a week or two. But watch this breakout from this flag pattern. If this thing takes out this high right here, especially 420 held today, that's a support. Underneath that, the gap. but we need to get over this 428 and this 433. Then this thing is off to the races and possibly will go higher. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching.